Hello everyone, it's Asat Games. Today I will be showing how you can implement a main menu to your default game. This is what we will be implementing. I used a game I have developed for complex animations tutorial, and the player was a goblin on the game, so the game is named Goblin Game. We have a start button, we have an exit button, and we can turn the sound on and off. Exit works. If I start, it takes me to the game and music plays. I use tab to go back and turn the sound off. If I play again, it doesn't play the sound. Now, to be able to do this, we will need to create an main menu. For this, right click, new GUI, because with default, you need to create a GUI to have your UI components. On the GUI, we have nodes, textures, materials, and different folders. You need to add the textures you are going to use under the textures folder and fonts under the fonts folder. You won't have any fonts at the beginning, so right click, add font, and if you don't have any new fonts, just select the default font so you will at least be able to use the basic text. On the textures, I have my UI atlas. For this, on the resources, I have right-clicked New Atlas and named it UI Atlas. I have added the image by right-clicking and adding image. For the sound on and off, I have right-clicked, added animation group, because to be able to change the texture of the sound button, we will be using animation flipbook, so we need to have them as animations. Then on the notes, I have right clicked, added a box for background. I have set its size to 96 to 64 and scaled it by 10. You can just have 960 to 640 or whatever is your resolution. But then the corners will look really small. To avoid this, to be able to see the corners properly, I have set the size smaller and scaled up by that amount. On the texture, I have selected the background texture I have prepared. For the start button, I have again added a box and set the button texture, scaled it up by 5, and set the size. I have also added a text to the button and set the font to my choice of font and set the text. We don't have any font size option with default, so we need to change the scale like this. You can change them as you like. With the exit button, I again did the same thing. I have changed the texture as ribbon this time, and I have added another text to it. And for title, I have added a text to the notes folder and set it properly. I have set the size. For the sound button, I have created a soundbox, and under it I have another text for sound text, and I have right clicked, added a pie, but you can just have a box either, it doesn't really matter for this example. And the image has sound on texture, but we also have a sound off texture. We will be switching between them. This is the part you can do as you like after you have your proper UI. Then we will need to add it to a collection. On the main, right click, new collection, name it main menu.collection, and on the collection, use A to add a game object. To the game object, right click, add component file, select the GUI you have to display it. On the collection, I also added another component and named it music. Under the music, I have added a sound component and I have set the sound. You can only play the OGG sounds if you have an MP3 sounds but want to convert it to OGG, you can use Audacity. I have explained how you can do it on my default sounds tutorial. I will leave the link to the comment section so you can go and check it if you need it. After we have our main menu collection, we also need to create another collection for the game, and I have named it level. Normally on the main collection, I used to have my game components. I have copied them all and pasted on the collection. I have removed them from main collection. So right now I have my game scene and menu scene. On the main collection, I have added a game object, named it scene parent, and under the scene parent, I have added two components for collection proxy. One is named level and the other is menu. I have selected the correct collections for them. To be able to control the scene parent, I have created a scene parent script. On the script, I have game manager required. Game manager is a Lua script. For this, I have right-clicked new Lua module, and on the Lua module, I basically have two variables that can be accessed from any script as long as this line is added. So this will allow us to communicate between scenes. And we have a current level name and is sound on variable. On the init, we first acquire input focus to be able to detect mouse or key actions, and we try to load the menu collection. When menu is loaded, we need to enable it to be able to see. When a collection is loaded, it sends a message named proxy loaded. So on the onMessage function, we check if we have received any proxy loaded message. If we did, we enable the sender. With this, we will be starting at the menu scene. On the onMessage function, we also check for change scene message. If we receive a change scene message and the message also has a variable named scene, then we use switch to scene function and try to change our scene. Now, on the switch to scene function, we have a new scene variable. This is the scene we want to load. If the scene we want to load is the level, then we unload the menu and load this level. If we want to switch to menu, then we unload the level and load the menu. We also set the game manager's current level to level name. We can use new scene here actually. And this handles basically the scene change. We also check if we receive toggle sound message. If we do, we change the game manager's is sound on variable to its opposite. If it is true, we set it to false, or vice versa. I also added this part. This actually allows me to switch between scenes using tab. I have added tab on my input binding file. We will be using the start button from the menu, so we actually don't need this part. On the main menu.gui, you can attach GUI scripts. For this, you can use generic scripts, so right click, add new, and GUI script. On the GUI script, I have my sound on and off logic, and I handle button clicks here. On the init, I get the soundbox using the GUI.getNode. This basically gets the node using its name. On the GUI, all components needs to have different names, so I can't have another exit button here. It will throw an error. Thanks to that, we can simply use their name to get them. So we use this to get soundbox and image. Image is the sound icon on the GUI. This one. We also get the start and exit button. We acquire input focus to be able to get mouse clicks. We play the sound here. We want to play the sound every time we come back to the main menu. Then we call this function. This function basically changes the image we use on the sound image. We get the texture's name, and if is on is true, it's set sound on. If not, it's set as sound off. Then we use GUI.play flipbook to set the image node's texture as the sound on or off, because if we go to GUI, we will see that we have sound on and off. And we pause the sound depending on the is on. If is on is true, then not is on is false, so it's not paused, and vice versa. On the on input function, we check if we clicked with mouse and we just pressed it. Then we check GUI.pickNode for soundbox returns true. This basically gets the box and checks if the action is happening inside the box. So when you click, it will check if you have clicked on the button. This is for debug. Then it toggles the game manager's is sound on variable and updates the sound accordingly. So we will also change the sprite here. We also check if start button is clicked. If it is, then we send a message to our scene parent for change scene because it handles the scene change, and we also send a variable named scene set as level. We also check if exit button is pressed. If it is, we use os.exit to close the game. On the onMessage function, if we receive update sound icon message and the message has a variable named sound on, then we update the sound icon again. I used player script to play the sound, not the best practice, but it works. And that's it. That's how you can have a function in UI with default. I will share this project file on my itch.io page. You can find the link on the comment section. If you have any question or recommendation, you can let me know in the comment section again. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.